Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
Food and cover are changing out in the deer woods the entire time. And they are so mission critical to whitetail survival, it's not even funny. As a matter of fact, outside of nasty, nasty weather and breeding, frankly, food rules the whitetails world. And even during breeding, food rules the whitetails world a whole bunch because A, those bucks, they are feeding way more than we're led to believe they are during the breeding phase. And B, those does are. They're after the does, therefore they go to the food. Okay. So outside of just plain nasty, nasty weather, food really is king the entire season long. And then we have to look at the cover, that cover factor. That is also a big dictator that changes dramatically over the course of season. It goes from there being just literally a surplus of cover, green everywhere, leaves covered, to just like that, these leaves and all that food, those leaves, that's food there, people. They're all dying, so the food sources are changing, and man, when those leaves drop, all of a sudden you go from having incredible cover to none whatsoever. At the same time, we have our temperatures changing. During the hot times, think exposure. Hot and cold, think sun exposure. During the hot periods, the deer want to be out of the sun because they're baking like potatoes. During the cold periods, they like that southern exposure. They like to be in the sun. And at the same time, remember, those southern exposure areas, especially where you got snow, they're the ones that green up first. They're the very first to melt. And as soon as they melt, you got deer in there hammering that dead stuff because they've been eating twigs. And now they have a chance to eat some dead grass, or hopefully some fall, winter, spring, some cereal rice, some trophy clover, something like that. But those southern exposures are a big deal. Start paying attention to how deer utilize exposures and when, and you're going to be a lot farther ahead. And along those lines, we also have to keep up with the changing food sources. You look at something as simple as soybeans. When those leaves are green, they are drawing deer like crazy because they're eating the green leaves. But the second those leaves start to turn, now all of a sudden they back way off those soybeans. Then everything starts to dry out good. Now they're actually hitting those pods the beans really hard. Mass crops are coming and going. Okay, now we can go ahead and judge that by getting out there late summer with a pair of binocs and just inspecting the mass crops, the acorn crops, the apple crops. What are we going to have this year? Okay, greens themselves have a life cycle. When they first start out and pop out of the ground, generally speaking, they are so incredibly highly digestible, it's not even funny. And remember, when this greenery is in that seedling state, oh man, it melts. Okay, then you hit that rapidly growing state. Now we are absolutely rocking nutritional levels and digestibility. That is perfect. But once the that greenery starts to mature, those cell walls, they start thickening. It becomes harder to digest and the nutritional content starts to drop. Guess what we can do? We can go in there and we can mow, and that reboots these cycles. Aspen leaves in northern Wisconsin make up the majority of the stomach contents in the whitetail the entire time they're available, but they're not available all year. And never forget about woody browse. Woody browse is such a staple, it's not even funny. And then there's all those little things, such as when those sugar maples start turning and those leaves are falling. Man, those deer, they go nuts for it. The locust pods at a certain time of year. Understand that food sources are changing and you need to keep up with it. And the last thing they require is water. In various areas, they acquire their water differently. Lots of areas, they get it right out of their food. You look at northern areas, they just hammer ponds and stagnant water, and then you get down to the EHD and blue tongue belts, and running water is gold. All these things are changing. You really want to keep up on it, keep logs and all, and this stuff is going to repeat over and over and over again. 5 years from now, you'll look back at your logs and, oh, I just saw that. Study them proactively and you're going to be way further ahead.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
Food, water, and cover, they're changing like crazy out there in the deer woods. These are all mission critical aspects of those whitetails' lives. If we want to stay in these whitetails, we need to understand how the habitat is changing and we need to keep up with those changes. We do that and we are so far ahead of the game, it ain't even funny.